What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely incredible day. I know I am. If you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. The Amazon fire will never go out. Yeah, that's right. The lungs of the earth are in your guys' hands. If you press the like button, then every tree will be saved for every like. Yeah, you gotta send it. Anyways, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, and today I'm gonna be telling you guys the story of a time me and my friends got lost in the woods. Yeah, that's right. We are definitely not the most big brain savages to ever exist, but regardless, it's pretty funny, and it ends up with me thinking that there's a bear outside of our camp and just embarrassing myself. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So I had a bunch of friends throughout high school that we were kind of tight with. You guys know the squad. It was a pretty tight-knit squad, and like we definitely didn't really have a ton of people in it. It was only 5 or 6 of us that were all super close. And anyways, it was our senior year, and we had a random week off. The school we went to basically had this issue of they didn't want to use any like in-staff development days, so they just chunked 5 of them together and gave us a random week off in May, you know? And May in Las Vegas, it starts to get really, really hot, like 100, 115, 120 degrees on average. So once May hits, you kind of just expect it to not be cool at all. But there's this mountain right near our school, near our town, named Mount Charleston, and it's pretty cool. I think it's like 10, 20 degrees cooler. So over this week, me and the boys decide that we're gonna go camping. And you know, none of us are very outdoorsy folk. The way I could describe us is like, you know, in the movie about a video game where there's like the 3 kids that are in charge of the computers and they're all super nerdy and out of shape and like can't actually do anything athletic. Yeah, that was me and my friends, all right? So we decide for some reason that we're gonna go camping and go outdoors in the better weather, and like, and the truth of the matter is we should have just stayed in and played Halo, but whatever. I get convinced to go on this camping trip. We plan it and we're like, no, we're not gonna take a trailer. We're gonna get tents and we're gonna catch fish for our own food. Like we're gonna go off the beaten path and do what we have to do and make things happen to survive, which is genuinely one of the worst ideas I've ever heard in my entire life. Like it definitely is not a good idea. But hey, the mountain in Las Vegas is like only an hour away, so even if we get screwed and don't have any food or like can't find anything, it's not like we can't just hop in the car and drive an hour back. Like at the end of the day, not that big of a deal. We're fine. No skin off our back. We can always go get supplies if we really need it, right? That's what I thought. So whatever, we all commit, and about a couple days before we leave, keep in mind I've planned to go over to this place just an hour outside of town. I haven't packed anything super intense. I'm not even really packing hiking shoes because I'm figuring we'll just like park right next to our camping spot, you know? One of the kids goes, oh yeah, my parents said we could go to this place in Utah if you want. And the difference is this place in Utah is super isolated, all right? I'm talking at least 2-3 hours from any real civilization. You can't see a city from where it's at. It's more isolated. People aren't always traveling through. It's not a super popular tourist spot. We should go there instead. And I'm like, you know, guys, we haven't exactly planned to actually be in the wilderness, all right? Like, we were planning to go to the fake wilderness, okay? Like, we were going to go to a forest or a mountain where, you know, I don't know, half the trees are like cell phone antennas. That was my plan, at least. I wasn't exactly super hyped for the idea of actually being in the middle of nowhere. Because don't get me wrong, the outdoors and cool and all, but I was never made to survive outside, you know? Like, there's some people in this world that are hunters and gatherers, and they just thrive in nature. It's their sweet places where they're happiest. You know, I really like CSGO, so definitely not the type of guy who wants to go live in the middle of the woods. But all my friends are like, yeah, dude, let's do it. It'll be so lit. And I'm like, all right, fine. You know, fine. I'll end up in the middle of the woods in Utah. But if I die, it's on you, okay? My parents are going to be really, really sad at my funeral, and that's going to be on your guys' conscience. But if you want that to be on your conscience, that's fine. So the day comes before our week off, and we pack up our stuff and go to Utah. And after about a 4-hour drive, we get there. And our friend pulls off to like the side of the road, parks and says, all right, let's go. And we're all like, oh, like, is it right here? Like, wow, it's really wood. And he goes, no, it's like a 2-hour hike. So let me get this straight. Not only am I 2 hours away from civilization, ladies and gentlemen, not only that, but on top of that, I have to hike another 2 hours into the middle of the woods to find this land that your parents own. Did your parents buy land in Narnia? Like, did your parents buy land in North Korea? Are we sneaking over the border to meet Kim Jong-un? What is going on here? Why would you buy land that's so isolated? That just seems silly to me. Like, call me crazy here. I'm not a big fan of having to walk 2 miles to be stuck in the woods, all right? The entire point of camping is to be one with nature, but I'm not trying to be one with nature like French kiss it. I'm just trying to, caress its hand gently. Like, I'm not trying to make moves out here. I'm really just trying to camp and have a good time with the boys and get a little hydrated. That's all I was really going for. So we hike this 2 hours into the woods and finally stumble upon this land and goes, all right, this is it. So like, let's set up camp, all right? And like I said, I didn't even have hiking shoes. So I just did this super hard hike for 2 hours in Vans and my feet are basically bleeding. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. In that moment, if I had a cheese grater, I might have just scraped off the bottom floor of my foot because it was all in pain. I know that's a visual none of you guys wanted, but there, it's yours now. It's in your head. You guys keep it, hold on to that, do whatever you want. I don't really care. So, after this 2-hour hike, we start setting up camp, and I'm really hungry. And if you remember, we made the super bright idea, to not really pack a bunch of food, because we're gonna fish and forage, which, sounds super Bear Grylls in the middle of chemistry class, all right? But it's way less Bear Grylls when you're hungry in the middle of the woods with the sun going down. Like, none of that is dope. But our friend's like, don't worry, okay. There's a fishing reservoir. There's like a lake thing. I don't really know what it was. Reservoir, lake, pond. What's the difference? Okay, there was fish in it. So we just got to go fishing. And we're like, oh, yeah, for sure. Except we're all a bunch of city boys from Las Vegas who have never caught a fish, all right? We are not experts by any means. None of us are really out here blazing the Appalachian Trail, settling the west of America with our cowboy hats on. We are not those types of kids. So, whatever, we go fishing, and I actually managed to catch a fish because I am an outdoorsman, I lied earlier about not being made for the outdoors. Since I caught a fish, I basically proved that I'm better at surviving than Bear Grylls. So, we're doing all this stuff all weekend, and it's actually pretty fun. Like, don't get me wrong, it was hard. We managed to catch enough fish. We managed to get water. Like, we were really doing okay, and I was on top of my world. I was like, dang, we really are some outdoorsmen out here, Like, no one thought we could do it, but we did. We're basically the Portland Trailblazers, Like, everyone's like, oh, all they have is one good player, and then we come out the cut and beat Russell Westbrook with the fadeaway, Like, that's just how life has to be sometimes. And regardless, I was feeling pretty confident after surviving for 5 days in the middle of the woods without packing a ton of supplies, which, like I said, is really dumb. Don't do that. If you're gonna go camping, take enough supplies just to be safe. You can try to be cool and be Bear Grylls, but the least you can do is make sure everything's safe first, that was our mistake. So whatever, we just did this super savage, swagged out camping trip, and we're like, all right, now we gotta hike the 2 hours back in. And like I said, it was super fun. A bunch of stupid stuff went down. We got pretty hydrated basically every night. We went fishing. We had ourselves a good time. You guys get the 411 and the 411, you know what I mean? Everybody keep your smiles on. But this 2-hour hike that's supposed to be us just coming out of the woods, very slowly and very quickly gets a little off course. And next thing we know, it's been 4 hours and we have no idea where we are. And I don't know if you've ever been from the high of actually thinking you're Bear Grylls. I thought I was king of the mountain. I was actually going to bathe in salmon blood to make the bears come try to fight me because I was such a mountain man. To being lost, you realize just how much the earth can screw you guys, Like, don't get me wrong, I love the earth, but has anyone thought about how easy it is for the earth to kill us? All right, it has sharks on it. I don't have sharks on me. I can't fight back. And here I am stuck in the middle of the woods with nothing but wilderness around me. And I'm pretty sure this is GG. This is going to be the end of it. So I actually start getting mad at the guy who's guiding us. I'm like, how did you get us lost? What the hell, bro? Like, come on. And he's kind of apologetic. He's like, I didn't try to get us lost, all right? It wasn't on my agenda. Purposely get lost. So as we're lost, we're trying to figure out what to do. And it's a pretty hard decision to make when you're stuck in the middle of the woods. Like, do you stay put? Do you try to go back the way you came? Do you keep going? Like, what are you supposed to do? And I basically take control of the group, and I'm like, look, guys, we're lost. It's pitch black pretty soon. It's taken way longer. We still have another day till we were supposed to be back. So let's just walk back as far as we can, and then we'll set up camp. So we hike maybe an hour back and decide to set up camp. And this is the first night we're lost in the woods. And we were going back a day early just because we all decided that we wanted to play Fortnite and goof off for a little bit before we actually had to get ready to go back. So, well, not Fortnite. Fortnite wasn't out. Call of Duty. I don't really know what it was even the big game back then. It might have been Minecraft. Who knows? Who knows? All right. Games come and go, but friendships are forever, damn it. So we set up camp for that night, and all of us are pretty terrified, all right? Like, I don't know if you've ever actually felt lost, but it's like one of the most hopeless feelings I can ever describe. You basically realize that nature is huge, and it does not care about you. And like, if nature wants you to get yeeted, you're gonna get yeeted. You're not winning a fight against nature. So obviously we're all pretty scared, but thankfully we have tents and whatnot. We still had some leftover food, so we're okay for that night. But as the sun's going down and it starts to get creepier, I definitely started to freak out. Because, like, when you feel safe and you feel like you're on a campground in the woods, there's a lot less to worry about. You're not as stressed. But as soon as you're lost, all these noises start, like, freaking you out, In the middle of the night, probably around 2 in the morning, I started hearing these rustling in the bushes. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to die. Like, I don't know what it is. Obviously, there's bears in the woods. There's mountain lions, stuff that can, yeet you. And when you and your buddies are huddling for warmth, the last thing you want is a cougar to come get a triple kill. Like, that was not trying to be on the agenda. And the noises kept getting closer and closer. Like, I started, when I was first hearing them, from a little bit outside of, like, our camp, for lack of a better word. And I definitely was a little scared, but I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, no big deal. Like, everything's going to be fine, right? And as it started to get closer and closer, another friend of mine woke up and looked at me and was like, do you hear that? And I was like, yeah. And he said, it sounds like a bear. And obviously, we were a bunch of city kids from Las Vegas. Like, if we would have stayed lost forever, we definitely would have croaked after, like, another day, okay? We were not going to be very powerful. I don't know why I believed him, but when he told me it was a bear, I instantly started freaking out. Like, I was like, oh my God, we're yeeted. We're donezo. And then something started rubbing against the outside of our tent, and me and him were, like, trying to stay still, okay? I'm not even going to lie. Our sleeping bags were about to be multiple shades of yellow because I was about to piss myself. Like, nothing is terrifying quite like thinking there's a bear sitting outside of this tent you're in and it's going to devour you. Like, that is not a very cash money feeling, if I'm allowed to quote Lil Wayne here. So we're staying still, and then it, like, pushes up against the tent harder, right? And which is obviously terrifying because even in the moonlight, we can see, like, this outline of it, and it's got hair, and it looks scary, and there's, like, stuff on its head, and we're like, oh my God, like, we're yeeted, we're donezo. So after about 2 minutes of it, like, pressing up against the tent, we can kind of tell that it's licking the outside of the tent, right? So I kind of lift up, like, our little tarp thing to look out the window of the tent, like the mesh, and it was a deer. But I almost pissed myself in the middle of the night over a deer, and when I saw it was a deer, I still screamed like a little girl because, I don't know, apparently that's what you do when you see a deer and you're from the city and you think it's a bear that's going to eat your skin, all right? Sometimes you do things you're not too proud of. So I screamed that everybody woke up, and I kind of got bullied for the rest of the night, which is fine, but we ended up getting sleep. And when we woke up, the kid whose land it was ended up knowing kind of where we were. We ended up taking another 2 hours to get back to where we were originally camping, and then it took us 6 hours to get out. And during those 6 hours, I definitely thought we were still going to get lost. And, like, the worst part about getting lost with a bunch of people who are unexperienced in the woods is we were already kind of, like, breaking into factions and deciding who we would eat first. Like, come on. Okay, we're a bunch of city kids from Las Vegas. The only thing we're going to cannibalize is a box of Twinkies. Like, I'm sorry. We were not super savage. And, yeah, along those 8 hours of hiking that we had to do the next day, it definitely wasn't fun. Like, I would give it a 0 out of 10 experience. Being forced to march does not feel cool, and now I know it's against the law in the Geneva Convention. But on that note, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Today's notification shout-out goes out to Moss000. Big shout-out to you for having on notifications, man. If you enjoyed, I'd appreciate you hitting the like button and commenting down below. But on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. Don't get lost in the woods because, trust me, it's scary. And if you hear something rubbing against your tent, punch it in the face because even if it's a bear, it's a good way to go. Good way to go.